So the best part about doing lives in Vegas is that you have to turn the AC off because that would mess up the audio. And, and all right, let me just. Yeah, we're not going to use the AirPod. That would be stupid. All right, hopefully it's working now. All right, so that's the rough thing about doing it. So if I start sweating, well, I'm losing weight, right? I'm losing water weight, so there's something. And as for the green screen, that's for when I'm going to turn this into smaller videos for my other channel later. And I'm going to do the green screen like Hamza. If you haven't watched Hamza, he's blown up. He's the second fastest growing red pill channel, or maybe third. Andrew Tate being the fastest, and the second fastest would be Just Pretty Things. And then Hamza is third fastest growing. And part of what he did is using animations, using a green screen to put animated stuff in the background. I have a video editor who's going to do that for me to make the videos more engaging, because, talking to the camera, there's a million people doing that. There's not as many people adding other elements like animations. That's how you stand out. Are incels a problem? The answer is it is exaggerated as to how many there are that actually know about the community, but the general problem of men not getting laid and not being able to get laid is a huge problem for sure. I would say 100% that is a problem. Yes. It's something like 30% of men between 18 and 30 didn't get laid last year at all, not once. And very few of them is that for religious reasons. It's because they can't, or because they don't try, right? They've kind of given up. So big problem for sure. So I have a few topics I'm going to go over. We're going to be reacting to an Andrew Tate clip where he talks about day game, his thoughts on day game. He shits on day game. So I'm going to see if his arguments are any good or if it's a bad take. We're going to go over some Donavan Sharpe, who's one of the biggest guys in the red pill. He's pretty hilarious. And that one's going to be interesting. If you don't know him, we'll be excited to be introduced to him. And then we're going to go over someone reacting to RSD Tyler, who's the biggest PUA pickup artist of all time, probably, other than Neil Strauss. And some women are going to react to him, and we're going to see what they think of his energy. Is he sexy and charismatic, or is he really awkward and off-putting? So those are the topics we're going to go over. First, I want to talk about something that's very important in terms of generally succeeding in life. I want to talk about two different techniques I use that have helped me be more productive. That's the reason I'm doing this live stream right now. I don't want to be doing a live stream right now. And I'm going to be making 10 total videos today. I'm going to be recording 10 videos today. And I'm going to talk about why that is. And it's a discipline technique that I learned from two people. So when it comes to my channel is mostly about dating, how to attract women. But the truth is, the better your life is in general, the more you're able to achieve your goals, the more you're able to succeed at anything you want to succeed, the more attractive you're going to be to women. That's very important. Your overall self-esteem, your lifestyle, who you are matters. And it matters a lot. You can be a total fuck up who does well with women, but you're probably not even going to enjoy being with women that much if your life is a total fuck up, right? It's not going to fix all your problems. So there's a couple things that have really helped me be more productive, to increase my ability to make money, my ability to achieve my goals. And there's one particular technique that I learned from two people. I learned it from Owen Cook, RSD Tyler, and also I've heard Andrew Tate talk about this. And it's something that sounds almost autistic and weird. It sounds dumb. It's something very few people would ever do, but ultra successful people do this. It's one of the things that separates the ultra successful from other people, and it's self-punishment. So I had a goal to record a video every day last week, and I missed a day. And so now, as a result, I'm punishing myself to do 10 videos today. And the reason for that is, when you have something that you want to achieve, you have a goal, and you lie to yourself, you don't take the actions you said you would take, you're giving yourself comfort. You're taking the easy way out, and that feels good. It relieves stress. So your brain is saying, okay, well, I could do this hard thing that will eventually get me something I want, or I can avoid it, I can not do it, and then I'm going to feel better. That's the neural pathway that's being created. But if instead, anytime you lie to yourself, anytime that you say you're going to do something but you don't do it, you punish yourself, then you're creating a different neural pathway. You're creating a different neural pathway where now, every time you don't make a video, you don't go to the gym, let's say you're trying not to drink and you do drink. Well, okay, when you do that, you punish yourself in some way. Another one I did was I'm quitting drinking, and I drank a few days ago when I wasn't supposed to, and so the next day I had to do 500 push-ups. Now I am not in the best shape right now. 500 push-ups took me hours and hours and hours. It was very grueling, but by doing it, I'm telling my brain that if I fuck up, I'm going to experience worse stress than if I just do the thing I set out to do. So that's very, very crucial. And you can apply this to attracting women. You can apply this to pickup, right? You're supposed to go out. You tell yourself you're going to go to a bar or a club. You don't go out that night. Well, then you punish yourself in some way. It could be one I've done is like giving money to a charity that I don't care about specifically, not one that I would feel good giving to, some that I think is bullshit. Giving money to a charity anytime you fuck up, doing push-ups or some kind of like running, some kind of workout, doing something very difficult, right? Something like cutting yourself away from TV or video games at all for a period, right? You're not allowed to do that. And when you create this mentality that anytime I fuck up, it's going to be worse because I fucked up, now your emotions are on your side. Now it's much easier to make the right decision because you're afraid of your own self punishment. Now you know that I either have the choice to take action, take a reasonable amount of action, do the thing I said I was going to do, even though it's stressful, and I'm going to feel good about myself and I'll have accomplished something, or I fail and I'm going to have to do something harder and more stressful in the future. Or I'm going to have to donate money to charity and feel like a jackass. You want failure to make you feel like a jackass. You want it to be immediate and painful, not something that's far off in the distance that, a year from now I'll start getting fat. That's not a very strong emotional leverage, right? Thinking a year from now I'm going to lose something. So that's a very simple technique that you can use in terms of game, for sure. In terms of approaching women, you set out a goal to go out 4 times a week. You don't do it. You punish yourself. You make it so that not doing it is stressful. It's not alleviating stress. It's increasing stress, right? It's making things worse, not better. That's a very simple technique, and you can use it for fitness. You can use it for anything. Different people are going to resonate with different types of self-punishment. What works for you is not necessarily going to be what works for me, but try different things. And this is a very powerful technique that anyone can use. And it's something that you want to be a habit, a default habit, that whenever you set out to do something, you have a goal and you don't follow through, that's what you do. Without thinking about it, you self-punish, right? You create some kind of worse situation for yourself because you didn't do it. And that's a very useful and simple way to quit any bad habit you have, to improve good habits you have, and to achieve any goal you might want to achieve. Let's see. Is there anything else about that? Thinking. No, I think that pretty much covers that topic. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button. If you want to work with me on a deeper level, you want some actual accountability, actual guidance from me, then click the link below to sign up for a free 30-minute coaching call where we can find out exactly the steps you need to take in order to get your dating life handled, in order to get to a place where you're getting dates every single week. I'll show a couple testimonials here, so you know I'm not just making shit up, that this has actually worked for people, but that's something you can learn more about by clicking the link below. All right. If anyone has any questions about that, feel free to ask. I'm going to get some water and I'll be back within 30 seconds. not doing anything. All right. So there's actually one very simple habit that will help you succeed at going out and approaching women, getting over your approach anxiety, having success with women, having the dating life that you want, that only takes 5 to 10 minutes per day. It's very easy. It's not complicated. It doesn't take an incredible amount of work, but it's something most of you will refuse to do. You will watch this video. You still won't do it. You'll be like, that's a great idea. You're not going to do it. And some of you are going to think, that's too woo-woo. That's too spiritual. There's no way it would work. And it's something that a lot of people dismiss, but it is absolutely effective. It is a big part of the reason why I've had periods where, I was able to approach a woman that, where I was able to approach a woman that my own friends said, like, wow, she looks like a model. She looks like Gal Gadot. She's like a 9.5 out of 10. How did you pick her up in 20 minutes? How did you bring her home in 20 minutes? I was able to do that because of the habit that I'm about to talk about. And a lot of you are going to have resistance to it. I myself, when I first heard about this, I had a lot of resistance to it, but it works. And the first thing I want to mention is that this is not some spiritual, woo-woo, magical thing like it's usually sold as. That's how people usually think of this habit. It doesn't have to be that. It can actually be very psychological, very scientific. And so what I'm talking about is visualization. It is the habit of imagining yourself taking action. So in terms of pickup, you would imagine yourself going out to bars, going out to malls, going wherever, going out, approaching women, having the girls like you, having successes, maybe bringing girls home, these kinds of things, having an amazing dating life, seeing yourself being charismatic, being funny, having girls be all over you, telling you, wow, like you're really cool, and like taking you home. These kinds of things, visualizing that for 5 to 10 minutes per day. Now, people think, oh, so that's manifestation. It's like imagining a Lambo and you're just going to get the Lambo. I think that mentality is kind of silly. That is not why visualization works. It has nothing to do with spirituality. Maybe it does. I don't know. But I have no reason to believe that that's the reason. The reason is very psychological. There have actually been scientific studies, which I'll go into in the video, that have shown visualization is a very powerful habit, that it actually can change your life. And the reason for this is not spiritual. The reason is that it does two things. One is it sparks desire, almost a thirst, a craving to get the thing you're visualizing, to take the actions you're visualizing. I'm sure you've binge ate. Like I would, back in the day, I would binge eat an ice cream, in my lunch break when I worked at fast food, right? I would visualize myself having an ice cream. Or I would binge eat, and that spoiler alert. And what would I do every time before I binge ate ice cream? I would visualize it every single time. I would imagine myself eating ice cream. And that would create a craving, a desire. And at that point, there's no way to stop myself from doing it, right? At that point, it would take a lot of willpower to not do it. There's this pull, this magnetism to take that action. The same thing applies with drinking. If you have if you're someone who drinks a lot, think about it. Before you go drink, you start thinking about it. You start visualizing. You start imagining yourself drinking. You feel this pull, this craving. And so what visualization allows you to do is gain control of that craving, because the truth is most of our willpower, most of our intelligence, most of our mind is subconscious. The conscious part of your brain, the part that speaks in words, the part that's the voice in your head, that little annoying often voice in your head that probably sounds like Woody Allen, that voice is not most of your intelligence. That voice its IQ is, let's say it's 120. The subconscious part of your brain, the IQ is like 1,000. It's many, many times smarter. And it's also where all of your emotions are. They're in your subconscious. So when you visualize something, you're getting out of that, it's called the prefrontal cortex, the less intelligent part of your brain, the slow part of your brain, and you're directly communicating with the fast, intelligent, subconscious, emotional part of your brain. That's the way to do that. You cannot do that in words. You can only do that through imagination. You can also do it through hypnosis, things like that. But the easiest way to do that is through visualization. You visualize yourself getting the things that you want. Hamza, the very big red pillar, he talked about how he recently was visualizing his testosterone getting over 1,000 without using, any human growth hormone, things like that. And it went up from 600 to 1,000. He made a YouTube post about that. That's just one example. But many, many successful, famous people use visualization as a technique to get the success. They claim that that's why they had the success they had. Conor McGregor talks about it all the time. Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about it. Will Smith talks about it. The Paul brothers, who've become very, very wildly successful, talk about it. So, and that's just a few examples of many, many examples. Who's the greatest? Michael Phelps talks about it. So it's a very powerful technique. Everyone should do it. 5 to 10 minutes per day. Do it about pickup and dating. Also do it about making money, the other things you want in life. Do both. I would do two. I would personally, I do 2 separate sessions, one about pickup and one about the other aspects of my life, right? I visualize both things separately for 5 to 10 minutes each. And that has drastically changed my life. That has allowed me to accomplish a lot of things. It has strongly helped me go from being completely broke 3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago, to now making 20K about last month, making 6 figures easily. That is a big part of how I did that. It's also a big part of how I've dated very attractive women, because the other thing visualization does is it tells you something is possible. When you imagine it, for whatever reason, the way we evolved is flawed. It's imperfect. And so our mind does not do a good job distinguishing between the things you imagine and the things that actually happen. I mean, if you think about it, that's why movies like scary movies, why they're compelling, because we have difficulty. We can kind of tell it's not real, but it still makes us feel fear or arousal or anger or whatever. It still creates an emotional effect on it because we can't totally separate it. And so when you visualize, you cannot totally separate the fact that it's not really something that's happening. It becomes a possibility in your mind. Your mindset before might have thought, I'm never going to attract beautiful women. I'm never going to make a lot of money. I'm never going to do this. But you start visualizing it. And then on an emotional level, you believe that it is possible. That is the difference. That is what it does. And that is very powerful. Now, I know most of you watching this won't do it, but I highly encourage you to try it for a month and see what happens. It's only going to take 5 to 10 minutes. Do it and see what happens. Treat it like a science experiment. Is making more content, then please keep making mistakes. I like that one. Thank you. And what's up, Diego and Bomsey? So let's see. Is there anything else about visualization that I want to cover? By the way, Diego, we should go over your infield at some point when you're on one of the streams. So visualization is very powerful, very easy to do. There was one scientific study that I found very interesting where there were 3 groups. One of the groups, they lifted weights and they didn't visualize themselves lifting weights. The second group did nothing. They didn't visualize, they didn't work out. The third group, they worked out and they visualized themselves working out. They did both. Or sorry, I got that wrong. The third group, I fucked that up. The third group, they visualized themselves working out, but they didn't actually work out. So unsurprisingly, the group that worked out gained the most muscle. The group that did not visualize or work out gained no muscle. But the shocking part is that the group that did not work out, but they did visualize, they gained muscle. They didn't gain as much as the other group, the one that worked out, but they gained muscle. Now, why is this? Is this some magic? I doubt it. What I think happened is without realizing it consciously, because they were visualizing getting stronger, they used their muscles. They worked out in one way or another more often. Right? They were more likely to do physical activity because it's something they wanted to do because they felt a motivation from the fact that they were visualizing it. So without realizing it, they were working out more often than they were before they did the visualization, or they were, walking more, taking the stairs, things like that. Just little behavioral differences that caused them to gain more muscle unconsciously. And so there is a lot of evidence that visualization is effective. It does not take a lot of time. It is something that once you start doing it is actually enjoyable. It's actually like a fun activity. It's like, I don't know, it's like a jacking off, but to every other area of life. It's like, ooh, I could have this, I could have that. I could, like, it can become fun, and it helps improve your life. It helps increase your chances of success. So why not try it for a month, see what happens? If it does nothing, fine, don't do it anymore. But it's 5 to 10 minutes per day. Why not give it a try? Be an experimenter. Treat your life like a scientist, right? It's like, maybe this will work, maybe this won't, but I'll try different things until I find the things that do work. That's how I treat it. And a lot of the hobbies, a lot of the habits, or the things I try from self-help books, a lot of them don't work, but some of them do. And those ones have completely changed my life. So I would highly recommend trying visualization. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button. If you want to work with me on a deeper level, make sure to click the link below to sign up for a free 30-minute coaching call. All right. Let's see. So next, I want to go over some clips. As long as I can get, I'm a bit of a boomer with StreamYard, but I want to react to some clips. And if you guys could let me know that the audio sounds good and everything. Okay, so this one is fucking hilarious. Okay, share screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Okay. Share the window. Might break the internet, I don't know. There we go. We got an infinite recursion mirror. Okay, so this one's fun. Donavan Sharpe is one of, let's hide that. Donavan Sharpe is one of the most popular red pill manosphere content creators. He's got over 150,000 subscribers, and his channel has been blowing up recently because now he's dropping bombs of red pill wisdom in the form of skits with his, I believe, wife. With his, he coaches men how to get beautiful women. So of course his wife is, like, I'd say a solid 9 out of 10, because these red pill guys are very legit, and they're teaching some old school, you might call it trad con, but some old school real wisdom about how you should treat your woman to make her happy, to protect her from herself. Because let's be real, women, they're pretty dumb. They can't really think for themselves, and you have to treat them like children. That's what the red pill teaches. If you're new to the red pill, man, you're really missing out. This might cause some cognitive dissonance. You might be like, oh, that's misogynist. But once you see this skit, you will see that this is 100% true, and you need to treat your woman the way Donavan Sharpe does. So with that said, let's dive in. And I want to make sure that the audio is working, so let me know, guys. Ladies first for now. All right, so do you guys hear that? Let me know. I want to ensure that you actually hear that, so that I'm not just going over it and, it's fucked. And if you guys are too shy to say whether you can hear it, I'll give it another 10 seconds. If you're too shy to say, I guess I'll just go over the clip, and we'll see. Audio is not working. No sound. Good to know. Let's see. How can I fix that? Maybe, hopefully there's not echo, but maybe if I just don't use the... Okay, how about now? You guys hear it? Let me know if the audio is working. Because when I'm on that tab, I won't be able to see the chat for a bit, so I want to make sure that the audio is working. It's audible. Okay, good. All right. Let's 1 second. Sorry, guys. Just want to get rid of that. Whatever. So first of all, Donavan Sharpe is an old school gentleman. Chivalry isn't dead, and that's great to know. Chivalry isn't dead. This is a nice stand-up guy, and I'm glad he's teaching hundreds of thousands of men how to treat women. What a wholesome, nice video this is.
Reservation for Donavan Sharpe. How do you pronounce your name, by the way? Dahlia?
So yeah, some light flirting. That was light flirting. He asked her name, and that was flirting. So I honestly, he's on another level than I am. I didn't even know what flirting was. I thought you had to, have some banter. You had to do something funny or clever or, lightly sexual. But he's done it just with his pure masculine presence. His pure dominant energy has made this flirtatious in a way that I couldn't perceive. It seemed like the girl couldn't perceive, but on a deep level, she's very turned on, according to Donavan Sharpe. And I didn't even realize that. So this guy's on another level. I imagine by the end, he's probably going to have a threesome with her and his wife, because that's the cool red pill way to do relationships. I guess we'll find out though.
How do you pronounce your name, by the way? Dahlia?
She looked at him. So she did make eye contact for a solid half a second, which is a huge indicator of interest. Yes.
Thank you. We're ready to work. Okay, so she is going to do for...
Again, women do not know what they want. If you let them make decisions, they're going to be miserable. You cannot let women make decisions for themselves because that's how they're going to get fat. They're going to cheat, and then they're going to be miserable and destroy their own lives. There's a reason that 70% of American women are overweight. Do not let them make their own decisions. That's why they want to call you daddy, because they want you to be their father, and they want to be like a young child. That's not weird.
Appetizer, she's going to go with wood grilled corn, aged cheddar, spiced bacon. For dinner.
Hashtag well-trained woman. Yeah. Looking in the direction of another male as a woman who's taken, that's fucked up. You should never, ever, ever do that. If my woman did that, instantly broken up. We're done. I don't care if she has my children. We're done. That would be awful.
She's going to go with the field green salad and the wood grilled Maine lobster tail. I am going to go with the lobster.
Okay, how do I get rid of this border? I have it on full screen, but it's not. There we go. Maybe. Again, I am a boomer.
Bisque for appetizer, and then I'm going to go with the lamb loin. Going across the lamb loin. Medium well. Mm-hmm.
I like the slow-mo replay here. So, yeah, 100%. Your woman should not be looking at other men, especially men who are clearly a sexual, clearly a guy that gets laid all the time. Clearly a guy who's a threat. By showing her submission to you, by not looking at this Adonis, of a man, that shows that she's going to be faithful, that she actually loves you. That's how you know. And if she doesn't, dump her ass.
Thanks.
So that is how you treat a woman. That is how you have a happy relationship. Donavan Sharpe is just spitting wisdom that we all need. Wow, well said. That we all need to hear. I'm thrown off by just how powerful his message is, you know? And you guys should really watch more of his videos because he just tells it how it is. Not all this modern feminism, women, you know, they can think, they can read, all that bullshit, right? They can have a job. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. This is how you do it. She should be completely submissive to you, only doing what you want to do, never going out, never leaving the house unless it's with you and not even looking at another man. That's how it's supposed to be. And so I think Donavan Sharpe is a gentleman and a scholar, and he's doing a good deed for the world. He's really helping people have the right mindset. And I make sure to subscribe to his channel, 100%. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. I mean, he's far wiser than I myself am. So if you enjoyed this video, go subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel, you know, hit the bell button. I'm not on his level, but, you know, I think I can at least introduce you to cool videos like this. So that's something I can do for you, even though, you know, like, do I get women as hot as his wife? Psh, no, never. I'm not getting 9s and 10s like him. But, you know, I know a few things here and there. So you might want to sub to my channel if you enjoyed it. But Donavan Sharpe, he is the man. I hope the audio is working during that. No, he's not clowning. That's serious. That's some good shit. He is the GOAT. Donavan is the GOAT. 100%. All right. So we got 2 more videos to go over. One of them is Andrew Tate because he's taken over the internet. And he made a video about day game that is very interesting. So for anyone here who does not have TikTok, Andrew Tate has taken over the internet. He's the biggest red pill creator by far. He's done interviews with all of them, Rolo, Fresh and Fit. This guy owns the manosphere right now. He's dominated it. He's done a very good job with his marketing at going extremely viral. And he spits the kind of wisdom that other people are too afraid to say. And I can honestly say his advice on discipline, on motivation, on why motivation is garbage, on how to be successful, how to become wealthy, I think it is very, very good advice. And his mindset is really good. But his advice about dating and women is interesting sometimes. It's very interesting. And so we're going to hear his take about approaching women in the day, meeting women in the day, whether or not it's a good idea. Is that an effective way to pick up girls, or is it a total waste of time? Let's hear it.
So I've got myself a bit of a reputation as a pickup artist. I never wanted to be a PUA. I don't consider myself a pickup artist. I was a kickboxer who started running a webcam business. A webcam business needs girls, yes. So I did meet girls. Of course I did, but I was never like a pickup guy. So I was never a pickup guy, but I get asked a lot of pickup questions because I'm in the red pill and all this blah, blah, blah. And obviously you know all my thoughts on girls. Quick plug, if you want to get more women, the most effective way to get women, which I have devised because I had a webcam business where I needed lots of beautiful women, I devised a system which is extremely effective. It's the PhD course on carpeting.com. You will have the exact same system I used to build a 7.
Okay, for a multimillionaire, his audio quality is fucking garbage. I don't know why he couldn't get a mic, but you know, maybe he's too busy to have time to get a mic.
5 women strong webcam company. So if you were talking about getting girls, get the PhD course. Anyway, people go, why do you know day game? Or what do you have against day game? I have 2 things against day game. 1, I'm a busy dude, and I'm busy doing shit. Like, genuinely, I've got companies to run, I've got places to go, and if I'm not doing those things, I want to have fun. The idea of going to a mall and just walking around the mall all day, going up to every girl I see, just seems pointless. It seems too women-focused. All the red pill guys say, don't focus on the woman, focus on your mission, the women come afterwards, which is true. But then how can you be red pill and say that and then go to the mall where your only objective is to talk to girls and just walk around all day, girls, 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 or walk around wherever you walk around, just talk to girls all day, every day. It's making women your primary mission in life, and women should not be your primary mission in life. As soon as you make...
So I think that's a bit of a straw man argument. You can have a hobby without it being the primary mission in your life, right? That's a bit of a silly argument he's making. You don't have to day game for 8 hours a day every day, right? You can do it less than that. You can do it, an hour a couple times a week. You can approach 10, 20 girls a week. It doesn't have to be the main focus of your life for you to do it. So that's kind of just a weird argument he's making.
If female is your primary mission in life, you're making a fucking mistake because you're neglecting something else. You, who you are as a person, should be your primary mission in life, or your finance, or your physical fitness.
So I agree that you should work on all those things, but you could do that. You can do them all at once. You just have to give up bullshit, right? Give up TikTok, give up Netflix, give up World of Warcraft, give those things up. And some of that time should be allocated to making more money. Some of that time should be allocated to diet and fitness and stuff like that. But you can still allocate some of your time. You can still make time to approach women. There's no reason you couldn't do that. I got from being completely broke to 6 figures. Hey, I'm not on Tate's level money-wise. I'm not claiming to be. But to be in the top, I looked it up on like the top 2.5% of the country. That took me 3 years, and I only had to work 10 to at most 20 hours per week to get there. So it's not that hard to be financially successful and also have time to talk to girls.
Whatever. It shouldn't be females. And mine never has been females. Mine was kickboxing. I was a kickboxing world champion. So I was always focused on something else. So
I do agree 100% that you should have a purpose that's more important than women. If you don't, yeah, you're going to have fucked up relationships with women. They're going to be toxic. You're going to be very needy. You're going to be looking for validation. They're your source of meaning. That's not good. So you should have something bigger than women in your life, something that you're trying to accomplish, some impact you're trying to have on the world, like a reason that people will remember who you are after you die. That should be the number one thing. But that also doesn't mean you can't approach some women.
The game seems very female focused, which I don't really like. Now, if I'm going through my normal life and I happen to see a very beautiful girl in fucking Starbucks, I absolutely will go say hello to her. But I will not go out of my way to try and find a beautiful girl. So how often do I see a beautiful girl and there's a scenario where I can approach her without making it awkward for me or her? Realistically, once every couple months, once every month maybe. You might see a girl and go say hello. But
I'd say it should be a little bit more than that, but yeah, it's not going to be all the time.
In general, it's not something I do day after day. So my first problem with day game is it focuses completely on females and I'm too busy for that shit. I have no problem going up to a woman if I see her while I go about my day-to-day business.
So Andrew Tate in another interview talked about how most of his lay count, most of the women he slept with were before he was very rich, before he was very successful. It was while he was a kickboxer. What he did is he went to bars and clubs. He approached women. He would say, "Hi, you're very beautiful." And he would bring girls home that way. That's how he picked up girls, which is really not that different from day game, right? If you're going to bars and clubs, you're hanging out with your friends. That's part of what you're doing. The other part is you're there to meet girls, right? You're there to get laid. That's what he was doing. So this distinction between doing it in the day isn't worth it, but doing it at night makes sense. I don't really understand the distinction there unless it's about the amount of opportunities. Then it does make a lot of sense because realistically, unless you're in a college campus or something like that, which, if you're in your late 20s, that's going to be a little weird. Unless you're going to a college campus, there are not nearly as many attractive women in a small area as in a bar or a club. In a bar or club, in Vegas clubs, you can have 5,000 people and 2,500 women. Let's say 10% are really attractive. That's 250 women you can approach in one club. In a mall, there's going to be less than that in the entire mall 100% of the time. So there's more volume and there's more opportunities, so it's more efficient. And if that's the argument he's making, I would have to agree with him.
It's the first problem I have with day game. The next problem I have with day game is the quality isn't there. And a lot of guys who do day game are purely interested in numbers.
Generally true.
And they have these add-on accounts and they fuck these girls and they go on there and said, another solid 9 from the mall, blah, blah, solid 8 or whatever. They're these stupid fucking criteria. We all know that most people's criteria is bullshit. My idea of a 9 and your idea of a 9 are different. I'll tell you why. There's no such thing as a 10.
I like that. Like, there's no such thing as a 10. I think that's a good mindset because that's like, oh, she's perfect. She's an angel. That's pedestalizing. So saying there's no such thing, saying there isn't a such thing as a 10 is a good mindset. I like that.
And 9s, the ones that do exist, are on a millionaire's boat in Monaco. They're hanging around with Arab sheikhs in Dubai.
So that's both true and untrue at the same time because there's different definitions of what a 9 is. There's society's definition, which is an Instagram model who has a lot of plastic surgery, lip fillers, fake boobs, all that kind of stuff, the Kardashian type. That's society's 9. And those women are hot. They are very attractive. But to me, those are not the most beautiful women in the world. Those are not the most desirable women in the world because I've slept with that type of girl a number of times, including successful fashion models, Instagram models, things like that. I've done that. And most of them don't have much of a personality. They're not very interesting. They're not very good in bed because they're getting invited, like you said, to a yacht in Dubai. Everything is handed to them. So why are they going to develop a personality? Why are they going to become a giver, someone who's interesting and funny when they just get things handed to them? They are turned basically, it's like they're being turned into this gluttonous person, this gluttonous taking, like just personality because of their lifestyle. So most of those women are not women that I'm really attracted to in the first place. Like they're hot. And, you know, if I have a chance to have a one night stand with them, I'm not saying I will never do it, but that definition of a 9 is different than my definition of a 9, which would be more like a girl who's naturally beautiful. She's not going to be as perfect as the one with the lip injections and stuff. But to me, plastic surgery is just a huge turnoff if I can notice it. She's not as hot as those Instagram models, but she has a natural beauty and she has grace and she is funny and charming and interesting and feminine. She has a much better personality. That's what makes her a 9. So to me, what he's saying is true. You're not going to meet very many of those Instagram model girls at the mall. And if you do, they're not very easy to pick up either. But why do you want those girls anyway?
They've got 1.5 or 2 million Instagram followers. You don't find these girls in a shopping mall. There's no quality in day game. The most beautiful girls in the world are not walking around shopping centers in England or fucking Nebraska or Idaho.
I mean, they do that, right? It's not like they're with Donavan Sharpe being locked in their room and they're not allowed to leave the house. They do go to malls. They do go to, probably designer clothing stores, stuff like that. They go out just like anyone else. They're just not very common. There's not that many of them. That's true. But I don't think their lifestyle, they're not like, okay, if you're in a small town, there's not going to be many of them, right? But if you're in a big city, you're in Vegas, you're in LA, you're in New York, there are those women. They are around, but there's not many of them in a shopping mall. It's not that common. That much is true.
Wherever you dorks do your day game. But I'm just walking around buying tampons and pretzels. It just doesn't happen. So people go, I picked up a 9 at the mall. There's no 9s in that mall, you fucking moron. I could sit outside that mall for a month and analyze every single chick who walks in there, and I'll see a single.
You know what I want to say? Even though some of the things he's saying I disagree with, the way he's talking does teach a lot about game because he's very polarizing. He's calling you like dorks, fucking like he's very expressive. He's charismatic. He's confident. And that alone, even though I don't agree with all of his advice, you can learn some game from that. Right? That makes people pay attention to him. And that makes women feel attraction because dominance, being polarizing, is attractive to women. And so that way of talking, that way of carrying yourself is game, right? So even though the logical level of his advice here is not the best, the underlying advice of just looking at the way he carries himself, there is something you can learn from that.
9. And you're telling me every weekend you go find the only 9 in the mall. Do you fuck? She's a 5, and you're desperate, Mr. Day Game. You're a dork, and your idea of a 9 is actually a 5 because you don't live in the real world. If you were actually a G, actually a multimillionaire who traveled the world, actually in the higher echelons of society, you'd understand what a 9 is, and there's none of them in Day Game. You don't find 9s just walking around. You don't find them. They're in extremely exclusive places. Maybe they're in a Gucci store or something, maybe. But you're not going to find them just fucking walking here, there, and everywhere. It's extremely difficult to pull off. And that's the main point of it. It's all about frequency. If there's 1 9 in the whole mall a month, what's the odds of getting her? You got to be there at the right time, right place, approach her at the right time, say the right thing. I ain't got time for those odds. I got shit to do. Those are some statistics I don't want to fuck with. I'm not interested at all.
Okay, so he is making a good point. There are not that many hot girls in any average mall to where you can meet a lot of them and have a good chance of, like, say, in an hour, getting 10 numbers, getting a bunch of options. It's just not that likely. Whereas if you go to a good bar or club, you can get 10 numbers in an hour and all the girls are hot. That is entirely possible. So that is something that's important to be aware of. Generally, night game, going to a bar or club is going to have more options, especially on Friday, Saturday. So I do prioritize that over day game, over going to the mall generally. That doesn't mean I don't get results from going to the mall. During COVID, I pulled like 20 girls from day game in 1 year because, well, there wasn't as much night game. There weren't as many options for bars and clubs. So you can still do very well in the day, but there are more options in bars and clubs. And generally, unless you're like college age, you're not 21 yet, that's going to be the best option. Whereas if you're in college, the best option is parties, join a frat, right? Do parties, and then talk to girls on campus.
So those are my problems with day game. When I insult day game, I'm not really insulting day game, guys. My point is, it's very female-centric. It's for people who have nothing better to do. And secondly, it's certainly not a way to get quality women. It's a way to get a lot of women. Yeah, if you go up to a 5 and you talk shit and you get a number, you're going to bang her because she's a fucking 5. Who wants to bang 5s? You guys do, because you're all fucking desperate. If you were actually in a higher level of being, if you were actually like me, and you look at my Instagram and the girls I roll with, you don't want 5s. You ain't got time for 5s. You don't reply to 5s. I don't reply to 7s. Don't negotiate with 7s. That's the rule. If you inbox me and you're a 7 and you say, let's fuck, I'm probably still not going to do it. I'm genuinely one of those guys who actually only sees the people for girls. I know every guy says that and they're lying. I ain't fucking lying. Fuck day game. It's a waste.
I did at one point, I made a rule, only 8s and above. I'm only going to go for 8s and above. And I don't regret making that rule, increasing my standards. Only going for girls. To me, an 8 is a girl that pretty much anyone would say is hot. Right? She's not necessarily a supermodel, although today's supermodels, half of them are fat, but she's not necessarily like the hottest girl ever. She's not the top 1 out of like 200 or something, but she's beautiful. Pretty much anyone would say she's beautiful. Your friends would be a little bit jealous if they saw her. That's the standard I eventually gave myself, but I didn't do that until I was able to get 7s easily, right? Because if you're not getting any women, it's better to have somewhat lower standards. Really, like if you're not getting any women, I think the standard should be, is she more attractive than my right hand or my left hand, right? Is she more attractive than jacking off, right? Is she above that standard? And if she is, why not go for it? Then over time, you can get pickier and pickier, but there's no reason to shoot yourself in the foot and get no women because you're like, I'm only going for 9s when you're not getting any girls at all. That's kind of stupid. It's kind of egotistical, in my opinion.
Waste of time, and the quality isn't there. If you want quality women, get the PhD course. I'll tell you where the quality women are and how to meet them, how to speak to and attract quality women, and how to have a good relationship with a beautiful quality woman. You need the PhD course. You do not need day game, because day game is female focused, 1, and 2, I do not believe a fucking word any of these day game guys say about quality, because I know for a fact, I've been around the world.
Okay, he is right. Most of the day game coaches that are like specifically about day game, most of them suck. Most of them suck. I'm not 100% sure why that is, but the guys I know who actually pull hot girls, and I know several, people like Charisma King, people like Alex Playing with Fire, Austin Summers, there's a number of them. Those guys are not only doing day game, right? None of them only exclusively, they're the day game guy. Those guys often go to bars and clubs and generally get most of their results from bars, clubs, in some cases online dating. Although I would say it's harder to get 8s, 9s, and 10s on Tinder than it is in a bar or a club. So generally, for whatever reason, most of the day game coaches, they do fucking suck. He's not wrong about that.
I've been in shopping malls in 72 countries, and you do not see supermodels fucking pissing around in the middle of a shopping mall. That ain't real. In the description below, you'll see
Okay.
TikTok. website has a full range of digital courses.
I like the way he said that. All right, let me make sure everything's working. Okay, that's Cap. Yes. Yeah, he has a. Let's stop the screen for a second. Yeah, he's very in alignment, and that is overheating. Fuck. All right, I guess I'll do the last one just with the shitty. Yes, I 100% agree. They look fucking terrible. "20 hot girls, 8 out of 10. Yeah. I think most of the London day gamers don't have very good game, but there are probably hot women in those cities. Yeah, well, that's fucking Moscow, of course. More so out. I think nightclubs and bars is where you get the most hot girls in a small area. I mean, it depends on the city, of course. All right. So I got one more video to react to. Open to number ratio in malls or non-camp, like, I don't know, 1 out of 3 or so would be good. I mean, the real question is the approach to date ratio, right? Because girls will give you their numbers to get rid of you, or because they liked the conversation, they don't want to be mean, but they didn't feel attraction. Like, numbers are better than nothing, but that's not the most important metric. It takes more game during the day. I actually would have to disagree with that. I think night game is more difficult because there's more factors. There's more things that you have to deal with. Logistically, it's far more complicated because the girl's going to be with her friends. She's going to. Let me make sure the mic is in. Okay. So there's a lot more to navigate, and pulling is going to be more often what you're going for, like actually trying to take a girl home. Because in day game, much of the time, the girl just can't do that logistically. She has somewhere to be, right? So it's generally more complicated to approach girls at night because you have to deal with the friend group. You have to deal with other guys that might be, might come in. You have to deal with the noise and hecticness of the environment. You have to deal with so many different things that don't really come up in day game. And so I'd say it's more complicated, and it's more, it's like a higher skill cap, right? To put it in nerd video game terms. Not to say the day game doesn't take a lot of skill, but it's simpler. And it's also competition. Night game, there's a lot of other guys approaching, so you have to stand out from these other guys approaching. Day game, that doesn't really exist. So the fact that you approached already is very flattering and makes you stand out. Whereas in night game, you don't stand out, and you have to find a way to stand out, and you have to be, there's more you have to be aware of. I've gone through this. I mean, that's basically a shit test. I've never heard that one, so I don't know what I'd say. Probably something about how that's, lucky her, right? Something about how that's fortuitous for her. Frame it positively. Loudness in groups, yes. If I get a phone 1 out of 4 times on college campus, it would be slightly lower. It would be slightly lower, maybe 25, 30% lower, something like that. Yeah, okay, so you can, in night game, you can be more physical and use less verbal game, but it really depends on the type of environment, because there's places where you just go to the dance floor, and dance floor game is mostly physical. That's true. But I tend to prefer loungy environments, right? Like a club with an outdoor area that's not very loud where you can talk. And I would actually say the verbal game is more complicated than day game because you have to be more interesting, right? In day game, you don't want to be too crazy, be too sexual, too over the top. You because that would just be hard to relate to. But in night game, if you're just normal and have a relatively normal, boring conversation, you don't stand out, and she's not as interested. So there's actually more room to say crazy shit, to get away with crazy shit, and to push the boundaries more than you could in the day. So you get closer to the girls. That's what you do. Mixed sets. It depends on if they look like they're into the guys, like they look like they're just like work friends, then you don't really need to address them too much unless they become an issue. It's not that different. But if they're actively talking to the guy, they're actively like, interacting with the guy, then you can do an indirect opener, right? Then you can do an opinion opener. That they do work. There's a million ones you could work, but you could use. Basic one is, do I look like a drug dealer? It works. Simple, just gets the conversation started. And then if the guys like you, then you can start to focus more on the girl. Like my hairstyle. Thank you. Appreciate it. First time I got a fade. And that's also a good opener, by the way. That's an opener you could use. All right. So I have one more video to go over. This is about RSD Tyler. I've watched a lot of RSD in my life back in the day. I think their advice was really good. You go back to 2012, 2013, RSD had some really useful pickup advice. But since then, they have changed. They are not the same as who they used to be. And so we're going to see some normies, some normal people react to Owen Cook. All right. I guess I don't need to look at the camera because the camera's dead. All right. So in this video, we're going to look at RSD Tyler, Owen Cook. He's the most popular pickup artist of all time. He's been helping men learn how to attract women for like 15, 20 years. He was in the book The Game, which is what started the pickup artist community. It's what made it mainstream for, until people started making fun of them too much. But it's what made it mainstream back in the day. And so we're going to see, is he still a leader of teaching men how to attract women, or has he turned into a total crazy person? Let's find out.
One of the kind of keys to beginning to break this is actually just breaking it.
I love it. I've seen this guy before. Low status behavior. This is the guy who screams about beta males, right?
Right now, as you're speaking, what's happening is your point of orientation is on everyone here. He's going, hey, like that, and he's worried what you're going to think. There's something in him that's oriented not the right way. Do you see that?
So far, what he's saying is 100% true. He's not wrong at all.
It's oriented in him not the right way.
That's weird. I don't know why you need to go, I don't really know what that's accomplishing, but all right. How do I actually add my face to, let's see. Picture-in-picture layout. Let me know if you can see my face on this screen. Let me know really quick because I want to make sure for the video later. You can't see the video. That's unfortunate. Oh, well, let me start it over then. That is a bit of an issue. Okay. I'm glad I checked. Okay.
The real world.
Okay, do you see my face in the corner of the screen? Let me know. When I'm here, do you see my face? I'll get better at I'm new to StreamYard, so sorry about that. But do you see my face in the corner? Plus, that means yes, I assume. I don't use Twitch, so yes. Okay, cool. All right, so let's check it out.
I love this. I love this. I've seen this guy before. Low status behavior. This is the guy who like screams about beta males, right?
Right now, as you're speaking, what's happening is your point of orientation is on everyone here. He's going, hey, like that, and he's worried what you're going
I like the way he did that. It was like, hey, like he's sucking a dick. Just that gesture was kind of funny.
to think. There's something in him that's oriented not the right way. Do you see that? It's oriented in him not the right way.
Is RST Tyler gay? Exposed? I don't know. Is he creating this entire cult of men who follow his advice just so that he can fuck them? I don't know. Maybe.
This guy's never gotten pussy, okay? And honestly, I'm just, he should probably not be around women.
No, give us your A.
So, first of all, I really dislike Hassan just on a personal level, just who he is as a person. He's pretty smart and some of his ideas are good. He's charismatic in his own way, but I really dislike him. And yet overall so far, I have to admit, I kind of agree with him. Now, it's not true that he's never gotten pussy. First of all, he does videos with his girlfriend who's very hot. So like, that's not true. But what he's done so far in this seminar does seem like someone who's not gotten pussy, right? It's not useful. It's weird, right? Like there's better ways to show that principle without having to go full on the spectrum, right? There's more normal, relatable ways without having to create some cult-like atmosphere to teach a basic lesson.
Okay, give us your A.
Is that good? I gotta.
No, I go one up you. Y'all. My A is kind of...
I can do an opera. You want to do an opera voice?
Yeah,
I got
let's
opera
go.
voice. That was pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Damn, that worked. This guy's right.
Oh my god. That was so... Wow.
Hassan also clearly has game. I'm learning more about game from watching Hassan talk to Pokimane. I don't know who the other one is. Than I'm learning from Owen going, hey! Like I'm learning more about game because he is being, how do you call it? He's being controversial. He's making fun of this guy. He's unfiltered. He's masculine. He's dominant. He's leading the room, right? He's taking a leadership role. It's all very good. He's unreactive. He has a strong frame. So I'm actually learning more about game from Hassan than I am from the game teacher, which is kind of funny.
I used to be in the choir. Hassan, these guys are making sense to me. I'm
Call
scared.
station
I'm
now
so what do
playing.
I do? Literally.
What? Okay, Siri is Siri's sketch because it just plays. Okay. It plays for no reason. Let me make sure it's still working. RC Tyler is legit. I think he has a lot of good advice, yes, but I think his newer stuff is gone off the rails. Like you go back to the 2012 stuff, I think it was really good. The new stuff, I don't know. His old program, The Blueprint and Foundations, I believe it's called. Those are both worth taking a look at. They're very good. And Hot Seat at Home has some good stuff too. It has some weird stuff, but it has some good stuff. The Infield is really good. But his newer stuff, I think, has gone fully off the rails. All right.
The opposite of whatever the fucking.
No, just keep listening to us, okay? We'll break it down for you. Because here's what they do. There's a term for this. What is it called when you mislead people by sprinkling in crumbs of truth?
Oh yeah.
You know, like they will give slight good advice that makes sense, but then they'll just take it to the fucking extreme
Yeah.
to a point that like you really should not follow.
Half truths, gaslighting.
You try to do that.
He
Okay.
goes for real.
Okay, so he thinks
Okay, that's bitch made, dude. Come on, give me a good one. You gotta have a better one. That's what he's going.
he's doing that. Isn't that crazy? Walk in the crowd a little bit, go,
This guy's like, are you
Wait,
serious?
what's that song where it's like?
This dude's like, I don't want to be annoying.
Every human in the world needs to spend a couple months contemplating RAS. If you haven't spent a couple months contemplating RES.
This is literally the worst style I've ever seen. First of all, why are you getting the side fade and keeping the top up like that when it's like, it's gone, bro? Just fucking
He's not wrong.
go full ball. Like, you have a nice beard, go full fucking ball. Oh my God, I can see the sweat beads too. And he's got like, I don't know what the fuck he's got, but it's like the lowest fucking neck line I've ever seen. He's got
What is
double
good? It's
dog
called
tags that are long as fuck.
Oh my God, that looks like a sage pendant.
Oh, maybe it is.
Particular
You're
acting.
captivated. That's why he's wearing that. He just got you.
So I pretty much dislike all the female Twitch streamers where their whole brand is them being hot, right? And that's why people watch them. Most of them I find very off-putting, and it's just kind of a depressing hustle. But Pokimane is actually very charming. She's the one exception, at least in this video. Like she's that's the kind of girl that I like hanging out with. She's fun, she's feminine, she seems smart, right? She's intelligent, and that's surprising because I want to dislike any Twitch streamer who the reason people watch them is the fact that they're hot. But she seems pretty cool.
All Valorant e-girls are like... That's his target demo. Oh no.
It's called Style Drift, something you wouldn't know about. She's got the pink flannel with like, what are those shoes, man? He's like wear black shoes. He's got like bowling shoes on.
What the heck?
He looks like a youth pastor that shouldn't be a youth pastor anymore. The worst YouTube.
Okay, like the cool church from my hometown. That's actually a very, very good analogy.
One alpha mid 6.24.
No way.
7 gifts women want but will never ask.
Yo, look at the
7 habits that
All right,
would make
let's go back to
thumbnail.
the. There's more Tyler,
Now,
so let's go back to
what
that.
the fuck? It's just a dick. It's just like
99% do
dude,
this.
so much.
I'm actually the Alpha M1. I'm actually going to go do infield of using his method and testing it out. So we don't need to go over the footage because I'm going to use his method in real life, and that'll be funny.
Or something. That's like very clear-cut positive sign.
Say,
All right,
Or like doesn't smile, doesn't do anything. Maybe not a good sign. Maybe you just accidentally made eye contact.
I'm learning so much about women.
The best is when you guys do make eye contact, like she smiles or she waves or something. That's like very clear-cut positive sign.
Yep, 100%. If she not only looks at you and then does some kind of positive reaction, that's definitely one of the biggest signs, if not the biggest sign, you're pretty much going to get that you should go talk to a girl.
say, hello, audience.
Hello, audience.
Now, if I say, hello, audience. and you
Hello,
say,
audience.
Hello, audience.
Okay.
Hello, audience.
Hello, audience.
Okay, he's trying his best. I love it. But notice that even with the bad manifestations, you can actually go even a level deeper. And this is why body language, as she said, is very important to study. But then it's equally important to go even deeper than body language and ask yourself, what does that body language represent?
Yeah, I've actually, a couple weeks ago, I went to a club and I was intentionally acting awkward as hell. I was speaking just like a robot and I was making weird gestures just because, I don't know, just for fun, just for trolling, because I was bored. And the funny thing is I thought it would work a little bit, but I actually had amazing successes that night. It went very well. And every girl just found me hilarious because they can tell that even though I'm talking like a robot and being weird, it's coming from a place of self-amusement, of just fun, of not taking myself seriously. It's playful, and that made girls resonate with it. It's better to do that. It's not the best thing you could do, but it's better to do that than to try to be James Bond and put on this facade of I'm the super cool guy in the suit. You know, that is much worse. To try to do everything correctly, it's actually better to try to do everything incorrectly and have fun.
Because if you're insecure inside yourself, even with really good body language, if I'm like, right? Because that's what you've been doing. You want to know how I would work
What the fuck was that? That was weird.
on him, by the way? Do you want to know what I'd really do? I'd make him so uncomfortable that he'd move into a higher status behavior because he goes for safety. He's trying to hide at the center of the tribe. So if I make your life completely miserable and then I re-anchor that to when you actually are better, because this little low status thing is hiding. You're hiding. What are you hiding from? What are you hiding from?
Ew, he's touching his chin.
Tell her what you're hiding from.
Pain.
From pain?
Okay, the chin part's weird, but what he's trying to do, I understand. He's trying to get him on an emotional, subconscious level. He's trying to like snap him out of the trance. And the way he's doing it is weird, but I think it makes sense what he's doing.
Are you afraid that someone like her wouldn't talk to you? Does that scare you? Say, I'm afraid you wouldn't talk to me. Say it.
I'm afraid you wouldn't talk to me.
I'm afraid you'd make me feel unattractive.
I'm afraid you'd make me feel unattractive.
I think I couldn't meet someone like you.
I think I couldn't meet someone like you.
Okay, now listen to his vocal tonality there. Does he sound honest? That's a problem. Now,
Does he?
okay.
He sounds
Now,
like he's just repeating what
Say,
he's saying to
I
me.
completely know that I could meet someone like you.
I completely know that I can meet someone like you.
Does it sound honest? He's on the fence, right? You see that? Okay, watch this, okay? Face this way. Okay.
There was no difference between the
Yeah. He's just saying what he's telling him to say.
He's nervous because he's talking in front of a large crowd, and his like mentor guru is putting all this pressure on him. So he's just nervous, right?
Listen, could this guy maybe use some more confidence? Sure. I don't think yelling at him is the way to get him there, though.
Yeah.
I also don't think faking it till you make it always works in this sense. Like a little bit sometimes, but maybe not from where he's coming at it. I also think it's funny that this dude is like, I am a master in body language and tone and showing off confidence. Yet he's just frightening me. And this is just through a video. Like the way
He's
taught
not like a very confident person.
I would say he does sound confident. He sounds very certain, but he sounds aggressive. He sounds like he's a little forceful, right? Pushy. Like he is overall, he's a charismatic speaker. I mean, I think he is a good speaker, but there's a little bit too much force, a little bit too much, what's the word I'm looking for? He's too much pressure. He's using too much pressure to get his point across, as opposed to it feeling natural, as opposed to it having positive energy. He's still charismatic, but he would be more charismatic if he was less like, less like that.
I mean, I think maybe he thinks wait, do you mean the instructor or the?
No, the instructor. I don't think the instructor.
I think the instructor does think that like he cracks the code in some regard and that he can really help people, but I don't know if this is the way to really go about it.
Out of 10, I rate myself a 10.
I rate myself a 9.
I rate myself a 9.
I rate myself an 8.
I rate myself an 8.
I rate myself a 7.
I rate myself a 7.
I rate myself a 2.
I rate myself a 2.
I rate myself a 10.
I rate myself at 10.
I rate myself a 2.
I rate myself at 2.
I rate myself a 3.
I rate myself at 3.
Annoying. I think he just says 3 funny.
Do you see now why congruence is so important?
Let's see.
I rate myself an 8.
I rate myself a 7.
I rate myself a 7.
I rate myself a 2.
I rate myself at 2.
I rate myself a 10.
I rate myself at 10.
I rate myself a 2.
I rate myself at 2.
I rate myself a 3.
I rate myself at 3.
Annoying. I think he just says 3 funny.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I didn't notice one of those being particularly more congruent than the others. I mean, let me know in the comments if I'm just missing it, but they all seemed kind of incongruent to me, and like he was just nervous and had a lot of pressure on him. And also he knows there's an expectation that he's going to agree with the 2 or the 3, the lower ones, and not with the 9 or the 10. So it's called a survey bias, I think. He knows he has this expectation. So I don't think that's really revealing anything.
You see now why congruence is so important? Even if you
Are you a marketer for small clients with big dreams?
I am not.
Want to help your customers?
Nope.
get the body language down, they're still going to sense the congruence.
He is right that his body language is awful, and it does need to be worked on. But there's a more practical way to go about that, right? You don't have to get into this weird woo-woo. This stuff, I just don't think it's that helpful. I think sticking to the fundamentals in a way that is relatable is going to be far more effective.
Now, when she said she can detect energy, can you easily see incongruent statements versus congruent?
Yeah, this is actually like a little bit in agreement with what he's saying. Not everything he's saying, but in regards to like tone and the manner in which you say things and how it impacts the way that people look at you and interact with you, he is speaking in a manner that is so aggressive that it is intimidating. So anytime he asks a question, people just agree with him right off the bat. I don't think that means they actually do. He's just fucking yelling at them. Do you think there's any chance that in front of another 40 people, if you yell something at someone, that they're gonna say no? Obviously not. And if he really understood the mechanics of all these things, shouldn't he know that? Shouldn't he try to make it like a more encouraging like situation for people to actually speak their truth? Instead, he's just
I agree with a lot of what she's saying, but you can learn through encouragement and positivity. That can be helpful, but sometimes it's actually better to learn through association to pain, through negativity, right? Through being so frustrated with your situation that you're fed up and you're ready to finally change. So I think what he's doing, like using negative anchors to make someone disassociate, to want to disassociate from their behaviors, right? To be fed up with being a beta or whatever. I think that can actually be useful. It's just the way he's doing this is kind of weird.
freaking
Body language and fixing that. Look at the pain and the torture and the agony. And you want to know what the mainstream would tell me to do to him?
He did not consent. Yeah.
They'd say, just be a nice guy.
I feel bad for him.
He's getting sadder about the moment.
Yeah, I feel it. Just
Who's he going to meet if I just say, don't work on your body language, don't work on your beliefs, don't work on your congruence, don't get better at meeting people, don't build up the ability to read social cues, don't learn how to meet a bunch of people? That's a naughty thing to do. Stay like this. Now, he looks cute. If this stays like this for another 10 years,
Naughty?
how old are you now?
Naughty.
What does this look like at 30? What does this look like at 40? Doesn't even make it to 40. What does this look like at 50?
Oh my god, that's so.
Okay, so he just implied that this guy is going to commit suicide if he doesn't change. That's what it sounds like to me. What? Like, I don't think I get what he's doing. He's trying to say you have to change, but putting that in his mind is not a good thing. It's like he's going to think, am I going to commit suicide? He's going to start thinking about that because his idol has put this in his mind. He's going to keep thinking about that. I don't think that's helpful. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do, and you have to be very careful making that kind of statement. You have to be very certain that it's actually going to help and not actually cause the problem or encourage the thing you're trying to avoid. That's just such a dangerous thing to do. I think that maybe it works, maybe that's actually an effective technique, but I don't know, man. That seems like you got to be careful with that kind of thing.
So rude.
He can't even take this as a joke. If I was in a...
Who the fuck would take that as a joke? Like the way he's talking to him, who would be like, ha ha ha, like, no, like it's very intense and very dark. Of course, you're not taking it as a joke.
Anthony Robbins seminar, and he's like, what's this guy gonna look like in 10 years? I'd be laughing my ass off because that's kind of funny.
When someone yells that out, there is no humor. What?
I'll be honest. No matter how many years this dude ages, he's always gonna look better than you, motherfucker. Okay. What is he doing? Why is he dressed like this? Why is this his drip?
Okay, no, not
You say my drip is bad. Like this guy is on a different planet, dude.
Oh, maybe he always just rocks the plaid shirt outside, tank top inside combo. Was that a suicide implication, by the way?
I don't know. Men will pay $5,000 to go to the how to get pussy seminar instead of going to therapy, dude.
I think in most cases it'd be better to do both. Although I have mixed feelings about therapy. I've seen therapists back when I had really bad anxiety. I saw a few. None of them really helped me. None of them even did the kind of therapy that they were trained to do. Like they were cognitive behavioral therapists, and CBT, that's what it's known as. It has a very specific set of exercises that you do with your clients, and none of these therapists did those exercises at all. They weren't even doing CBT. So I've had bad experiences with therapy, and I think in many cases, what's better than therapy is working out. And look, I'm not a medical expert. I'm not giving medical advice. This is my opinion. Working out, working on your business, working on your lifestyle, like all those kinds of things, leaving the house more, watching less TV, playing less video games. That is going to do much more for your depression or anxiety or whatever than seeing a therapist. And learning how to pick up women. Yeah, if your life is shit, and you're learning how to pick up women, that's not going to solve everything. That shouldn't be the only thing you're focused on. You should also be working on your life as a whole. So that's true, but I've had clients who had never approached a girl. I had one last week. He never approached a girl. He does an immersion with me, so 7 days of coaching, and he slept with 2 different women during that week, even though he had never approached a girl before. So the how to get pussy teaching seminar, whatever, it can work. It can be very useful. I've seen it many times. I've seen clients lose their virginity because of my coaching. Not literally seen, because that would be weird, but that's happened. And so it does work. It can be helpful, but it shouldn't be your main focus. It shouldn't be the only thing you're working on. So I agree with that.
I think that is one of the most horrendous things you could ever do or say to someone publicly, especially in front of others, implying that they are potentially so unattractive or like they lack so much self-esteem that they might kill themselves. Those are the type of things that make people kill themselves. What the heck?
So does this get better?
That's so gross.
Oh, it keeps going?
I agree with her.
Leave him
It's
alone.
50.
And back in the day, I was a fan of Julian, Owen, Jeffy. I still like. I watched all their courses, all their videos, and I think a lot of them were very helpful. And they were good at game, especially Julian. Their infield is still good. If you can find it, it's good. But some of their stuff, like over time, they lost touch with reality. Like I don't know if they joined a cult or what, but the stuff they say these days, a lot of it is just ridiculous. Some of his stuff about discipline and motivation, I think, is still helpful. But, he's talking about discipline and he's massively overweight. I'm not massively, but he's not in the best shape. So even that is kind of ironic. I think their old stuff is really good, but their new stuff, I can't say I'm really a fan of their new stuff.
4 minutes of just him
bashing on this kid.
I feel so bad because, rarely are you ever put in a situation where someone, like an authoritative figure, talks about you like that in front of so many others.
Audience.
Yes, in front of an audience. These things are gonna stay in his brain forever.
He's gonna think, oh.
I also think when it comes to coaching, I've tried different methods over the years and learned what works best. And the most effective strategy is not beating the client up and making them feel like a piece of shit. They already feel like a piece of shit. They feel like women don't like them. They already have negative beliefs. What you need to do is help them realize that, oh, that girl actually liked you. You had a chance. You just didn't go for it. Something might have happened if you actually asked for her number or made some kind of move. There was a chance there. She liked you. You actually are charming in this way. You have this positive quality. You're better looking than you think you are. Making them focus more on the positive, because that's what most men aren't doing. When it comes to women, they're already so much in negativity and apathy, and they don't believe they have a shot, that just saying you're a loser and you're probably not going to make it to 40, I don't think that's helpful. That's not what I've seen work. What I've seen work is encouraging that they have positive qualities, that they have potential, helping them see that they have potential, because that's usually what's missing, and then getting them to take action and get slowly better and better results. Beating them up emotionally, I think he's just going to feel really sad after this. He's just going to feel depressed. I don't think this is helpful.
He's being programmed.
there. Yeah, the audience,
They all
agreed.
this is true. If I don't change by 40, oh my god. And he's
He
only
can't even
20?
laugh. He can barely laugh right now. He's contracted. You guys see it?
It's
Do you see the contraction?
scary.
He's a
Bro, it's because you look like a pedophile and you're
Oh my
touching
God,
his face.
stop.
Okay, I think he's going a little too far. That's why I don't like Hassan. But the fact that overall I'm agreeing with Hassan says a lot, because I do not like him on a personal level. I just dislike him. But I'm agreeing with him far more than I'm agreeing with Owen. So that says a lot.
Okay.
It's
Stop,
because
motherfucker. He's got
he's
the Waco
yelling.
glasses on, and to be fair, actually, the Waco dude was hotter than this guy. You know what I mean? He's just he looks like he couldn't cut it as a cult leader because he's too fucking unattractive. So now he has to do this to go find motherfuckers who are literally some of the most saddest dudes and some of the most scared dudes.
Okay, I think the painted nails look awful. Just putting that out there. But overall, what he's saying is pretty funny. He goes way too into just personal attack. I guess that's what gets attention. But I agree. It's pretty funny.
On the fucking planet. so we can put them down because his fucking, acting career didn't take off. Yeah, David Koresh was hot, okay? He was hot. I'll say it, whatever. He was
I don't know if my opinion as a fish matters much here, but if I was at a party and I saw these two dudes talking, I would much rather talk with like the quiet guy, because at least that's kind of mysterious, versus the dude who's fucking yelling and thinks he's an alpha.
Wait, Canadian co-founder RSD describes forcing sex on a woman? That is the least surprising thing I've seen today. He's just like, real social dynamics, controversial LA-based company that offers men seminars on how to pick up women and appears to have boasted about sexually assaulting a woman. There you go.
What did he say? No, give me the details.
You want to hear the details?
Yeah, verbatim. What did he say?
In the undated video, Cook told a small group of men, it was in the morning, she was taking a shower, and I didn't think she wanted to have sex again, but I just threw her on the bed. He recounts how he proceeded to have intercourse with the unwilling woman whom he described as just totally not in the mood.
It sounds like they added the unwilling part. That's what it sounds like, but I'm not entirely sure.
He explained his behavior by saying he didn't care what he did to her because he didn't plan to see her again. Cook then described in explicit detail how he proceeded to have intercourse with the woman. And I'm like, I'll just make this quick because she doesn't even want it.
Okay, so I don't know if this is true, but if it is, it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great.
The 35-year-old father of one, I feel bad for that one.
Often goes by Tyler Durden, the name of Brad Pitt's character in the movie Fight Club. Bro,
How just like oblivious.
I mean, this
and
dude
fucked
has, like,
up
this
you have
dude
to
actually
be
has-
to admit to essentially raping someone.
He has like 168,000 subscribers. This video has 230,000 fucking. Well, good thing we can't see the dislikes anymore. Thanks, YouTube.
I actually hate that.
Now I just clicked on this.
That's the dumbest YouTube policy in recent years. They said the reason was for dislike bombs campaigns and stuff like that, but I'm sure they could solve that other ways. They could let you do manual reviews, right? The real reason they're doing it, I'm fairly certain, is because news organizations talking about things like COVID, talking about, the MSNBC, whatever, the major news organizations were getting disliked like 90%. 90% dislikes. So people see that the public opinion is that it's bullshit what these major news organizations are saying. And I'm sure they have corporate relationships with YouTube and they lobbied to get rid of the dislike button so people wouldn't realize how much people hate them. That's the real reason.
Video and I'm thinking this is good advice. All I see is 8,000 likes. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, YouTube. How girls really want you to talk to them, a different channel.
What you're about to
Let's
learn.
learn
Just
what
wait.
Okay, so that's where they wrap up with the Owen Cook stuff. Honestly, there was a little bit of what he was doing that made sense to me, but overall, I don't think that was an effective coaching method. Overall, I think RSD has lost touch with reality, and they've become very, very cult-like, and that's too bad because I used to like them a lot way back in the day. So that's what it is. I think Hassan was spitting more game than RSD Tyler. Just watching the way that he was interacting with those girls will teach you a lot more about game than going, eep, eep, erp, erp. You're going to commit suicide by 40, bro. I don't think that's helpful. I am sad to have to say that. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I dislike Hassan, yet I still have to take his side on this one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. Let me know in the comment section below if there's another video like this that you want me to react to. Let me know what you'd like me to make a video about. Hopefully that was working. Get YouTube Premium. I do have YouTube Premium. That's not my main account. RSD Tyler is a Chad. I don't know about that. All right, so yes, I miss old Tyler, honestly. Where's the follow-up? I'd like to see that. Yeah, I miss Cool Owen too. RSD roasting series. Maybe. I could definitely. Man, Julian changed a lot. I used to like him a lot. He had some darkness, but he had game for sure, and he had good advice. You just got to take out the sociopathic elements. But his new stuff is just—he's so much less charismatic. He seems to have become a complete sellout. It's pretty sad. They'll probably copyright strike me for that video, by the way. RSD has done this in the past. Even though to copyright strike someone, you have to say, I acknowledge that I understand that the video is not fair use, which clearly is. If you know anything about fair use, reacting to a video, that's half of fucking YouTube. So they've copyright striked me. I think that also made me lose respect for them because that's a very low quality move. That's like the one thing every YouTuber universally agrees is kind of a piece of shit thing to do. And Todd's done it too. Yeah, I think they're like a band, you know, a band like Metallica. They got big and then they lost touch. They lost their soul, whatever. And then they no longer were good, right? Then they started to suck. Kanye West, you know, was much better earlier on than his newer stuff. That's what happens to a lot of people when they become very successful. I hope that doesn't end up happening to me, but I'm kind of paranoid about it because I see how many people, like, they used to be great and now they fucking suck because they've gotten rich, they've gotten successful, they've lost touch with their initial purpose of why they're doing whatever they're doing, whether it's music, pickup, YouTube, etc. So, all right, that's about where I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section what you want me to react to in the future, what topics you want me to talk about, and I'll see you guys probably later today, if not tomorrow.